Greetings, sailors, and welcome back to World of Warships. And a thing I bought, because I haven't actually bought a premium ship in a while, and this one is actually apparently not bad. So I thought I would jump in, get one myself, and see how it plays. Now, I've played a couple of battles in it already, so I sort of vaguely know what I'm doing. I've also got a 21-point captain in it, which does help. And yeah, I think I, along with a lot of people, saw all the news of all the nerfs it got during its testing phase and thought, oh, it's going to be rubbish. But no, it's just in its initial iteration, it was so gloriously overpowered that they had to repeatedly nerf the thing to get it to where it is now. Now, it's not quite identical to the Atlanta and Flint models. The Atlanta and the Flint both had the same superstructure and bridge, and the only real difference between them is that Flint, of course, is lacking those side turrets in place of more AA. But San Diego does actually have a different looking bridge and some different looking elements otherwise on the superstructure. So it's not quite a whole remodel. I'm thinking the hull is probably pretty much identical, but yeah, there are some slight visual elements that are different. Now, as you probably already know, this thing has got SAP and high explosive. It's also got a pretty short range for its tier, 14.8 kilometers. But given the ballistics of these guns, anything longer than that, and you would be seriously struggling to ever hit anything anyway. With the tier 8 slot and being able to put in the concealment module, you can actually get down to a very sneaky 9.3. That's pretty damn good for a cruiser, and you will definitely need that sneakiness. I have also, in terms of equipment, stuck on steering gears mod 1, and that actually puts it down to 5.9. The default was 7 point something. The extra maneuverability has been very, very useful, the extra responsiveness. I've also put in the AA guns mod 1 there on that slot. Normally you would take aiming systems even for a cruiser, but yeah, there's kind of not that much point, so you might as well take the buff to your sector preparation time. I mean, you don't need the turret traverse, you don't really need the aiming systems mod. You've got the 4.5 kilometer torps that you have on Atlanta, so you might as well do that. Talking of torps, by the way, yeah, I haven't actually gotten to use these yet. They do decent damage though. 4.5 kilometers, 16.6, and I actually can't remember if I found that more than... No, that's the same as the Atlanta's torps, okay. It's the Flint that has the weaker but longer range torps. Slightly faster reload though, it looks like. Not that that practically makes any difference. In terms of captain skills, I'll give you a brief look there. This is a captain I spec'd out specifically for the Atlanta rather than use another captain. And yeah, you can see I've gone for nothing too wacky. I was thinking maybe of having something other than radio location, but that's just kind of a general safety pick. I mean, this thing doesn't get radar, so you don't have that going for you. But I mean, you could go for something like outnumbered or maybe top grade gunner. But yeah, you'd have to be pretty close to your enemies to ever get use of that. And the only other one at tier 4 that maybe could be of some use would be that. But you know, we know what AA is worth these days, and it's not that much. But it has to be said, even for AA being the state it is, the AA on this is not terrible. It's absolutely not terrible. So yeah, the only kind of thing that is not quite run-of-the-mill here is the heavy high explosive and SAP, which you can take without any penalty given the caliber of these guns. So I thought I might as well do it and get that extra bit of damage from the SAP shells. I did also maybe consider getting survivability expert, but given that you've got a heal, it doesn't really, like, I don't think it's that helpful overall. The torpedo skills don't really need them. Yeah, so there's actually not that much you can do in terms of building this differently. It's you know, you could choose some different skills there, but it's kind of a bit a bit of a one-trick pony, really. It's all about the fast-firing SAP shells. Let's see what kind of matchmaking we get. I've had some decent games already. I've had some games where I managed 100k and was able to score reasonably well on the list, and this is actually decent matchmaking as well. Tier 10 and Tier 8 rather, and a domination game. Yeah, it's not fun when you get a Tier 10 game and it's an open map and it's a standard game. You really do have to solely rely on your dodging skills at that point and hope that people choose to shoot other things than you. But you might be able to actually use some islands in this one and also put the AA to use. I've not found much cause to use the AP shells. I think you'd have to be pretty close range to be able to reliably use your AP. I mean, I'm sure there's a place for it. There will absolutely be a place for it. But with the shell arc that these 127s take, I mean, anything out of very close range, they're going to be raining down from above, basically. So, yeah, you know, even if you've got a broadside cruiser at, say, 8 or 9 kilometers, you're probably still much better off sticking with the SAP, because your AP is just going to be coming down from above. So that's a Mayhan spotted. Their destroyers are not particularly stealthy, but given that there are carriers in play, yeah. The fact they have a Pobeda as well means that I might shoot down some planes, but my AA is actually going to be less effective. I'm going to get less use out of my defensive, just because, you know, they come in, they do the strike, and then that's it, the planes get recalled. And they're not even having to linger around in your aura at all. So, yeah, definitely limits the use I might have. Now, I don't want to be too aggressive to start with. I mean, we do have the option of using some island cover. So, let's do that then. I have been forced out into the open sometimes in this thing just because of the short range. But if you have the choice of using island cover, then you probably should give it a go. Alright, got the Bismarck, Colorado, other Bismarck sort of coming this way. Yeah, let's just back up the... we might actually want to use the Akatsuki smoke a little bit, or is this going to be a little too risky, a little too forward? I don't know. I don't know if this is meant as decoy smoke or not, but it lets me get a bit closer, and therefore gives me the option of be firing at things I wouldn't otherwise. Also, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Yeah, I misclicked there, never mind. Waste of a defensive isn't much of a waste in this particular scenario, just because of it being a Pobeda. I think I'd be more annoyed about it if not for that. Right, good stuff. Who did we lose? Nuremberg. Yeah, we had a couple of very unlucky tier 6s on each team. This is pretty bad matchmaking to be a tier 6 cruiser in. I don't think we're going to get much joy out of this smoke, are we? Being very cautious. Right, I guess we'll use the sneakiness to try and move up a bit. Sometimes the short range is actually, you know, it can be a useful thing. You can end up with targets that you can shoot at, like behind an island or something, for instance, and you know, just because nobody else can detect you at that point. I mean, in this instance, it's the fact that the Mayhan is smoked up. So, yeah. No one else can actually spot me while I'm firing at them. Right, Hydro's about to go out, so I'm not going to be able to get that guy. I think it's, what, 5 kilometers? Yeah, fairly standard on the Hydro. Oh, spotted. He's out of his smoke then.
torpedoes, dead ahead.
Not too worried about the... I'm going to have to do some wiggle.
Enemy cruiser detected.
Oh. That's extra bit of that coming in useful. Extra bit of rudder shift.
Main turret critically damaged.
Right. Oh, thank you, Akatsuki. Now, I think the main thing that really helps the survivability of this is the thingamy. The heal. It's definitely the heal. I mean, it's an Atlanta in terms of its... it might be slightly different than the Atlanta, but yeah. Well, thank you very much, Akatsuki. Solid 7k hit there. Give him a compliment. Oh, we lost our Huron already. Oh, we have a Huron. I just noticed that.
Enemy battleship sighted.
Oh, you slammed on the brakes. Like any kind of
Torpedoes.
thing at a distance. Oh, Kutuzov torps. Forgot they had range. Yeah, any kind of anybody playing with their speed a bit at distance is gonna have a good chance of dodging these shells. But I don't know if I'm playing amazingly so far, to be honest. I was trying to support the Akatsuki, but they've gotten sunk now, so that's our other destroyer down and out for the count. And they've still got both theirs. In fact, we've lost 3 ships now. Plus side, I don't think anyone can spot me right now if I fire at this. I'll hold off healing just for a second. I'm going to make use of the benefit of adrenaline rush. Oh. My most successful games so far have basically involved like kiting away and just playing at the edge of my range and trying to dodge incoming shots as much as possible. But that's not really proving to be possible right now.
Problem solved, sir.
Oh dear. I'm not actually sure what spotted me. I mean, it must be the Mayhan.
Main turret critically damaged.
Absolutely must be the Mayhem. Oh well, this is, yeah, our destroyers having been knocked out. It's definitely not helped us. Right, I'm going to survive, but only just. And the Kutuzov quite comfortably outranges me, I think it can be said. It's got, what, 19 kilometers? Something like that. I mean, but for the heal, I would be dead already. Definitely a bit on the low side in terms of damage. But, yeah, not a lot I can do here. No. Our vision control is not going so well. We did have... One of the Bismarcks died, Margie's dead, the other Bismarck's way down there, so they were coming up here and then kind of decided not to. Dunno. I'd definitely be in a better state if I hadn't taken those Kutuzov torps. Oh, that was on me forgetting Kutuzov had torps that could reach that far.
Enemy destroyer sighted.
There's any chance of me hitting that Mayhem? Probably not.
Enemy cruiser sighted.
Oh, no, he's turning away. Wiggle out of these incoming shells. We're about to drop out of vision range anyway. You really do have to get superstructure with the SAP. Well, this team has been thoroughly trounced. Oh dear, we're down to 3 cruisers and a carrier. It's fine, I'm sure we can do this. Somebody not very pleased with our CV's performance. I haven't even been paying attention to what our CV's been doing, so I don't know. It may or may not be warranted. Okay, let's get my heal going. We just get our shells over.
Enemy battleship detected.
Don't know who I'm spotted there by. I mean, spotted by there, even. Ah, the Tariga. Right, absolutely no chance of hitting the Tariga at this range, but we'll give it a go, I suppose. He goes in a nice straight line, maybe. No, using WAS attacks, that's cheating. It's always annoying when they cheat and use WAS attacks. I mean, like any light cruiser, you know, the carrying potential is somewhat limited by the effectiveness of the rest of your team, which in this case was not very effective at all. So we can at least finish off this Tariga with the SAP shells before my inevitable demise. In fact, I might as well use my reload boost. Which gives a bit of a kick, but your reload's already so fast that don't necessarily make that big of a difference. So, I guess preemptively pop a defensive. I don't think it's going to make any difference against a Serov, but see if we manage to shoot down many 2 planes. We blunted his strike somewhat.
Anti-aircraft gun crews are on normal alert.
Oh well. I wonder if there's a chance of using some AP against the Kutuzov. Probably not. He would have to be... No. Not at this angle. Oh well, this was an absolutely thorough trouncing, but that happens sometimes. Nice.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
One more kill. Vengeance! Or something, I don't know.
Depends upon you.
Oh yeah, I can totally... It's fine. Solo warrior. Solo warrior. Absolutely. 100%. It's probably the biggest thing this has going for it is its heal. Well, there's still not that many tier 8 cruisers with a heal. And it can be effective, but it's one of those ships where you're sort of relying on other people not paying that much attention to you. Let's give that another go. Okay, tier 10 game this time. Also some subs in play. No carrier though, so I don't have to worry about air spotting. I will take the lack of carrier over the waste of my AA abilities just from the fact that not being air spotted gives me a lot more scope. Although having said that, your air spotting range is the same as your AA range. It is a very, very sneaky cruiser from the air. The fact that somebody, you know, with planes doesn't know you're there with their planes up until the point where they are actually in your AA bubble and have flak firing at them. It is a nice feature, given that, you know, you've got an Atlanta hull at tier 8. It is appreciated, the stealth from both sea and air. Anyway, let's see if we can support this Erland a bit. I don't know what my main threats are going to be. I mean, I guess, you know, all the battleship guns and all the other guns. There's not really. I mean, I'm used to this. That you know, I look at the thing and I'm like, okay, what's going to be my biggest problems? But really, everything's going to be my biggest problems. So, yeah, it's not one of those ships where it's like, oh yeah, I have certain strengths and certain weaknesses in terms of the ships I'm facing. It's just like, no, all the guns are going to hurt. Can I wiggle enough to stay alive? I almost wish there was a captain skill that let you enhance your rudder shift. That would actually be a more useful skill than some of the other ones I've taken on this ship. But alas, it does not exist. Right, from this side, I may be able to put some pew-pews over that central island and remain unspotted. We'll see. Let's slow my speed a bit. And okay, that is an enemy destroyer already, but they just went behind the island, so that's fine. Okay. It is almost like playing a British light cruiser in that you just don't have any fires to rely on at all. It really is just relying on the weight of fire. Trying to land as many hits as you can. Right, the Poison and the Alsace are both coming over here. And the nearest ship is like pointing in that direction, but I wasn't spotted when I fired there, so... Oh no, there we go. Oh, that's sneaky, I wasn't expecting that. Oh, okay. Adrenaline.
Below the waterline. We're flooding quickly.
Those are probably Halland torps.
Problem
That wasn't
solved,
a lot of damage. Yeah, there he is. It was very sneaky.
Enemy cruiser detected.
So you can heal a bit too, but yeah, I'm mostly hoping people don't shoot at me right now. Ooh, these are some chunky hits. So yeah, if you had the chance to, again, like the British light cruisers, get the chance to bonk somebody with your SAP shells, it can be quite effective. Unsurprisingly. I think one of the ways, which is this is definitely better than Atlantis. I mean, obviously the matchmaking is a bit worse, but yeah, one of the oddities of those is you have you have to use your depth charge rails, whereas for some reason they've given this plates, which we might actually get to use. So I guess we'll see. Anyway, the Erland's not doing so well. North Carolina's... well, the Pommer's really not doing so well. Oh, Alsace. I don't land any hits there. Okay, things might get a bit spicy with the Alsace.
Enemy battleship sighted.
Guess we'll see. Oh, and an Ohio. To test my dodging skills to their utmost. Oh, heal, heal, heal. I really was. Oh, he got me. I really wasn't expecting that Alsace to have come around there. To push on that flag. One thing that would be nice is if you had longer range torps to work with. But, yeah. Oh, Pommern. Oh dear, you've walked into those. Oh, wow. I'll try and do another one, I think. This was rather short. I mean, short-range Tier 8 cruiser in a Tier 10 game, it's not an unexpected result to be a sinking, burning wreck. Well, it's pretty much come down to the wire, but yeah, we've won just about. Quite a close match overall. This Conqueror division seems to have done quite a bit of carrying though, and that Moskva's also managed 3 kills. No idea how they're going to end up on the leaderboard, of course, but I guess we'll see. I think these have been full HE Conquerors as well, at least I've seen quite a bit of HE being flung around. Maybe not a surprise, even in this day and age when people generally are a little more sensible, I think, about using their AP shells. In fact, there we go. They're actually using some AP there against that Worcester. And bam, there we go. Less than 30 seconds to go and get the final kill. So obviously my 34k was absolutely instrumental in winning that game. It was enough to put me halfway up the leaderboard apparently. Okay, yeah, I don't know what to say about that, but yeah, some strong carrying from both those Conquerors, so let's give them a compliment, and the Moskva too. So yeah, let's do one more. Let's see if I can survive an entire battle. I mean, one thing I must point out that my long-term viewers will probably be aware of already is that light cruisers are really not my forte, especially short-ranged light cruisers. I tend to prefer things that, you know, even if it's a much slower rate of fire, have a bit of armor and a bit of range to them. Whether it be a cruiser or a battleship, or, well, pretty much just cruisers and battleships. You can't really point to any destroyers that fall into that category. Anyhow, okay, Tier 9 game. Bit rough for... there's a couple of Tier 7s, a bit rough for them. Yeah, I guess we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Also, a fan of the Beach Boys, apparently. I have a late uncle who was a particularly big fan of theirs, and actually had some of their music played at his funeral, so... It's one of those weird association things of now whenever I think of the Beach Boys, I think of his funeral. Yeah. I don't think that's quite what he had in mind. I think he just really liked the Beach Boys. Anyway, let's see if we can support the Sea Cap. And maybe try and use some islands. That island there might be usable. Certainly there's not really anything on the southern side of the map that would help me. It's not the... No, that's just black camouflage. It's not the... Oh, was it Godzilla or King Kong that was on the Amagi? I think King Kong was on the... that was the North Carolina, wasn't it? And Godzilla was on the Amagi. Anyhow, let's see what we can see. Oh, talking of well, I was talking of anything, but of naval games, the UA Dreadnoughts 1.06 patch has actually hit. I've been poking around with that a little bit, just the Naval Academy scenarios. But yeah, the ability to have calibers other than just the set calibers, and to increase, barrel lengths and all that jazz. It's all very handy. So I'm definitely going to be starting a fresh campaign of that. I mean, I said I was going to anyway, but yeah. That should be kind of fun. And there's some different mechanics going on around the campaigns themselves as well now, which should be a bit interesting to explore. I'm just kind of randomly spraying this smoke, see if I hit anything. I know he's in there.
Enemy destroyer detected.
Oh, he's there, okay.
Enemy cruiser sighted.
Hello, Megami.
Enemy battleship detected.
Well, that is... I don't know who will have spotted me there. Let's get unspotted. Oh, Z44. Kind of want to get unspotted before I maneuver. Oh, okay. High explosive firing Alabama.
Engine damage. Problem solved, sir.
Megami, nice now.
Enemy battleship sighted.
This is definitely not any kind of review or anything, really. This is just me playing the ship. I really haven't played it enough to form any kind of solid opinion, other than, although it is not the easiest ship in the world to play in terms of being relatively squashy and short-ranged, it actually kind of works.
Torpedoes
Actually
to
not
starboard.
bad. I'm sure there are people out there who are way better at
Enemy cruiser detected.
squashy cruisers, short-range cruisers, who are probably getting much more out of this than I am. Ooh, can I slow down in time? Oh, never mind, the Z44 possibly was detecting me there? Don't know. Actually, we're alright, so let's just do a bit of damage to the Alabama. This is certainly a ship which I would, like, if I saw someone playing, I would be a bit wary of. Depending on what I was in, of course. But you don't have that frustration of being set on fire that you would get with most other light cruisers. Which is one of the big factors, I think, one of the big frustration factors for a lot of people. Either they're British and they've got smoke, or they can set fires, or something. Actually, I don't really think there is a something. I think that's pretty much just it. And then, of course, you have the occasional ships that have smoke and can set fires as cruisers. Yeah, that's Gunai's now taking a pot shot. Here's where those shell arcs come in very useful. Oh, he's able to get one back over at me, apparently. I mean, if you manage to... Like, this is slightly trickier to aim because I'm not able to see the superstructure that well, but
Torpedoes dead ahead.
if you can, you know, you can sort of farm between 1 and 3k every 5.5 seconds, which is not half bad. Right, our Margie is being killed. I was going to say manhandled, but no, just straight up is dead. Definitely, I think it's one of those ships where if you played it a bunch over and over to get used to the ballistics and sort of aiming via the mini-map, that would definitely pay off. And if you're an aficionado of things like the Atlanta and the Flint anyway, I mean, you're probably used to these ballistics. I think if you're somebody that particularly enjoys those ships, then you will probably get on well with this. Right, not too worried about guns now. I mean, obviously 15-inch guns, but I don't exactly have an overwhelming amount of firepower available.
Enemy destroyer detected.
I don't want to pop a heal just yet. Right, you're ignoring me for now, and someone else is heading up with, I think. Fuji, possibly? Just keep farming the Gneisenau superstructure. Just trying to go for the torpedo on our Musashi, I think. And Musashi's getting topped from the other side anyway. That Z-44's been fairly effective. Right, he's down to the Adriatico. Okay, let's pop a heal while we have a moment. I think we're doing not too bad. I mean, I think this is winnable, but it is close. Oh, the Akatsuki's very low health. Here's where some range would be nice. Better range and better ballistics. Right, I think rather than chase after destroyers that are faster than me, let's go down towards this Fiji. There's not a lot I can do otherwise. Okay, Baltimore's dead, so it's just the destroyers, the Fiji and the Friedrich de Grosse. And we'll see what health they have very shortly. Still pointing over there, so I'm not sure where this Fiji... I mean, the Fiji must still be in the cap. Oh, that is a completely full health Friedrich de Grosse. Okay, alright. Iowa is also still very healthy, so that's fine. And we know there's nobody that can spot me within firing range just yet. That was some kind of plan. Not sure what plan it was, but it was some kind of plan. Okay, so, Hydra? Let them worry about the de Grosse and I worry about destroyers? Here's where I'm glad I took RPF. Having longer runtime on my Hydro, I might actually get that module.
Torpedoes,
Get the enhanced runtime on the Hydro. That could actually be quite useful.
Torpedoes, dead ahead.
Right, so there is both sets of... Okay, somebody's in the smoke, somebody isn't in the smoke. Plenty of health, not too worried. 5 seconds of Hydro left. Whoever's in the smoke is still the closest, and must be the Z-44, because one hit against the Akatsuki would have killed them for sure. There's the hipper.
Torpedoes, direct front. Torpedoes, dead ahead.
Right, can we thread the needle? I think so. It is a skinny ship. Oh, I've overturned, but never mind.
Hull breach.
Still
We're taking
have a
on water
heel.
quickly. Problem solved, sir.
I do have a heel. He's got limited places left to run. I seem to remember the Z-44 being relatively sneaky, but I can't remember, to be honest. Right. Fugitive Gross is down. I've protected the cap. I think I've done... This is the match where I've absolutely done the most. For sure. So I might as well use the speed boost. I'm using his AP, which is a good shout, but versus the SAP,
Main turret critically damaged.
doesn't really have a chance. Anyway. Okay, I actually managed to survive a game. Still not that much damage, but I did kill 2 destroyers. Second place on the team, not terrible. So yeah, I mean, of all the Tier 8 premium cruisers that I have, I can see this playing this more than I've played a lot of the others. Right, premium ships. Tier 8. So, I mean, there's a fair few to choose from these days. I still think the Atago is by far my favourite. Quite like the Mainz and the Eugen. Yeah. There's not that many that I would say are my favourites out of this, but I would put this towards the upper end of Tier 8 Prem cruisers I could see playing on a somewhat regular basis. I mean, there's some like the Congress, Ochakov, the P-Bag. There's some of these that I just don't play very often at all. I mean, Tiger 59, you just don't see that. You have to be in a very particular kind of mood to want to play something that's as pure a support ship as that. So yeah, overall, I rather like it, and it actually seems to be pretty capable. But you're probably better off getting the opinion of someone that's way more competent in light cruisers than me before you decide to buy the thing or not. Anyway, that's it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and if you did, you can do all the usual things down underneath it, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.